Omar was born in a forgotten border village where sand was the only neighbor and poverty a constant guest. Since childhood, he dreamt of changing his family's reality, but dreams in the desert are often scattered by the wind. At 20, Omar decided to join a special unit protecting trade caravans from bandits. There he met Othman, the man who would become his companion and mentor in survival arts. The real adventure began when their unit was assigned to protect a vital medical shipment to remote villages. On a dark night, the convoy was ambushed by the treacherous Black Wolves gang. Bullets flew like rain, and the sound of explosions shattered the desert night silence. Omar and Othman led a bold counterattack to break the siege on the trucks. Omar showed superb marksmanship and maneuvering skills, amazing everyone. But during the skirmish, Othman was severely wounded in his leg, rendering him unable to move. Othman yelled at Omar, "Leave me and save the shipment. Lives depend on these medicines." Omar firmly refused. To him, loyalty is indivisible, and his friend was not extra baggage. Omar carried Othman on his back under a hail of fire and began the escape journey. The pursuit continued through rugged mountain terrain for several days and nights. Omar slept only 1 hour, watching the horizon with the eyes of a falcon. Food and water ran out, and despair began to creep in, but Omar's resilience was stronger. Omar found an ancient cave for shelter and used his herb knowledge to treat Othman's wound. During those nights, they vowed to build a project that would change their region if they survived. On the 5th day, Omar managed to set a clever trap for the pursuers using the terrain. He lured the gang into a narrow pass where he completely neutralized them alone. Help finally arrived. The shipment was saved, and Othman was treated just in time. Omar was rewarded with a large sum for his bravery, but he didn't spend it on appearances. He and Othman started a security and tech company specialized in securing difficult areas. At first, they faced mockery from competitors who underestimated the sons of the desert, but Omar used the action he learned in the field to develop impenetrable protection systems. The company succeeded in securing the largest solar energy projects in the region. Omar transformed from a simple guard into a renowned businessman. Despite the wealth, Omar didn't forget his stricken village. He built its first school and advanced hospital. Othman, who now walked with a cane, was the CEO and the heartbeat of the company. In every meeting, Omar would place an old bullet on the table to remind himself of the beginnings. Years later, major corporations tried to take over their company through devious means. They threatened Omar by targeting the stability of the village projects he built. The Desert Falcon reappeared. He used his wits to foil their plans legally and on the ground. He proved that success built on loyalty cannot be demolished by money. On the 10th anniversary of their survival, Omar held a grand celebration in the village. He announced a scholarship for poor children to travel and study technology. Othman stepped forward to speak, but tears betrayed him as he looked at his friend. Othman said, "Omar didn't just save my life, he saved my faith in humanity." Omar replied, "We are one body. If you stumble, we all fall." The story was an inspiration to all the youth in the region who saw Omar as a role model. The Desert Falcons Company continued to expand internationally. Omar became a global security expert called upon during major crises. He always refused to abandon his principles for any profitable deal. At 50, Omar decided to retire and pass the torch to the youth he trained. He returned to live in his humble house in the village, away from the city's hustle. He goes out every morning to see the children going to the school that was once just a dream. He realizes now that the greatest action in his life wasn't fighting, but building, and that the real adventure is challenging, impossible circumstances. His story with Othman remains a lesson in the highest meanings of loyalty in an age of interests. And so, the falcon's journey ended to begin the stories of thousands of falcons who learned from him how to fly.